not the video you're all looking for, but I'm working on this bike, so I gotta connect the stator to this regulator. But I think I found the 3 leaks. I've got 3 oil leaks on this thing. I was looking at it the other night. How do you turn this thing here? And I think I found my oil leaks. Wiped it all off nice and clean because there's a puddle of oil under here. And my grandson-in-law, I think you'd call it, and I were looking at this thing. Crank it down here. Crank it all the way down. And I've got 3 leaks. One I just fixed. And the one is right here behind the banjo bolt. These 2 copper washers. I think I've had them off and on so many times they got damaged. So it's just a little bit of a weep there, not much. That's the least of my leaks there. The other one I haven't fixed yet is the kickstart shaft right here. I wiped it all off last night and I could see a trail right from here right over to this nut right there, and that's dripping down. So I got to pull this cover off and put a new seal in or check. I know I did when I put it together, but maybe the shaft is worn. I don't know, but it's leaking there. I think that's fairly common on these Nortons. And then the other leak, which I just fixed, is this bolt right here that goes through. It's actually a stud with 2 nuts on the end, and you can't get it out unless you undo the motor mounts and jack the motor up a little bit. It's dripping all right now because I took the drain plug out. I just took the drain plug out, and there was over 1 liter of oil in my crankcase. So I may put an inline shut off in here. Gotta do something about that. But like this bike, I haven't kicked it over start. I actually kicked it over a couple times, but just pushed it over with my hand. But I haven't started in probably a year. I don't know when I last started it. So this shaft here, I took it as far as I could. I cleaned it with some brake cleaner, and then I used some RV silicone on the shaft and kept pushing it in and out, twisting it in and out, twisting it in and out. And so I got a good coat of silicone on that stud. Put this nut back on with silicone all around it. And on this end I put a copper washer. I can't get both nuts off to get a copper washer on both ends, because that one's stuck on that end. Probably could, I guess, put vice grips on it, I guess. I don't want to damage it though. But anyways, I think I got that leak stopped. That should seal that one up, because this was dripping right out of here. Drip, drip, drip. So I think that's my 3 leaks. So I want to get some of this wiring, get the wiring tackled here a little bit tonight. One less thing to worry about. So that's what I'm working on. Didn't polish up the cover, went camping. Motorhome ran good, but wrote down a list of 10 things that need to be fixed. Everything needs fixing in my world. Everything. Okay, so I gotta extend these wires, put it to here. I'm not gonna cut off the good British male connectors on this end. I don't want to touch that, you know, so keep that original. Yeah. Okay, let me put around with this for a bit. Solder one at a time on here. I got a loose wire in here, so I gotta hold this in my finger. Gotta fix it. Something else to fix. It would be much easier to solder if I took it all off, but I'm too lazy. Too stubborn. That one. My side covers aren't clear coated yet. Peter's still working on his car. He says his car will be done this week. And I'm hoping he's going to clear it. But it gives me time to finish up the tank. I just got a little bit more sanding on that. And then I can clear them all at once. Slide the heat shrink over those. There's that frickin' dog. Dog from hell. Okay. Now, get a lighter or something. Oh, here. That's good. My dog wants in here, in the backyard. Okay, I'm just going to leave these three ends blank until I get some bigger connectors for that. They sell two different sizes in the States. This one's skinnier. This one's about the same size, fatter as the European ones, or the Lucas ones. And I've got the connector for the smaller one, this one, but not the bigger one. So I got to go find those tomorrow. Then I can hook that up, silicone this in, and it's ready to go. One less thing. Put a harness on it, but lots of room. Okay, that's that for now. Finally, got her done. There's 3 coats of clear on there. There's a couple little bubbles we have to buff off, a couple little spots, but that's it. I can put this on, finish up the wiring, and He's gonna do the tank next week. I'm gonna drop it off to him this weekend. And he says, Bruce, just bring it over, I'll finish the sanding, he'll finish it up for me. So, oh my God, I'm getting really close here, really close. 1 to 2 weeks, it's gonna be done. Alrighty, I'll go show you what I'm working on the bike too. I got the, where are they? Over on the other side here. The gaskets for this oil hose here. Even when I rebuilt this bike and I put it all back together, these are the original washers. I didn't have new ones. And it did weep a little bit and I cranked it up and it stopped, but no, it's still freaking dripping. So I finally got the new washers for that. I'm gonna drain the oil out, flush it out. I took out the crankcase drain plug, let that drip for like a week because it had sumped, it had leaked about 1 liter of oil into there. And I'm gonna try to get all these oil leaks done. I knew I had an oil leak, but I thought it was just one. I didn't realize I had 3 oil leaks. I had a little drip from this thing. It was dripping down here and dripping down the frame. The kickstart lever here is just an O-ring. I think on the later models it was actually a seal because they sell kickstart shaft seals, and mine doesn't have a seal. Mine's an O-ring, and the spare one I've got with this Norton here, it's an O-ring. And I think I remember when I was working on this bike like a year or 2 ago, I was thinking of bringing it to a machinist and have them machine that out and put in a proper seal on that thing, because that O-ring's leaking. So I probably got to pull this cover off. I'm sure I put a new O-ring in there. Maybe I can get an oversized O-ring or something a little tighter, because that's dripping down here onto the frame, onto the ground. So that's been leaking, and this has been leaking. And the other leak I could never figure out was right on this crankcase bolt right here. It was always dripping oil right here. It always had a wet drip. So I drained the plug. I thought it was leaking out of the cases somehow. I drained the oil plug, drained all the oil out of here. And I took this, I thought it was this bolt leaking out of along the shaft in here, along the seal. So I took that out and I RTV siliconed that bolt in there, put a copper washer on this side, and cleaned it all up there. I did this a couple days ago, and came back out the next morning. There's oil on there again. I go, what the hell? Where the hell is the oil coming from? You know, like, where the hell is it coming from? And so I felt the engine cases here, nothing here, bone dry. And what it was, what I think, I know where it's coming from, it's just a matter of what's leaking, is it was leaking, I think, right at this seal in here and running across the back of the case, like on the primary O-ring, which is brand new in the cover, but there's really only one bolt putting pressure on that. So I'm gonna put a little bit of RTV silicone on the bottom half of that gasket. And it was running down the crankcase. It was running down the crankcase. Where's my finger? Where the hell's my finger in this video? Oh, right here. It was running down this crankcase right here over this, wasn't leaking between this crack. It was leaking right here, straight across the frame to the lowest point, right there. And because every day I come in here and I wipe it dry and I try to trace it. So that's where that leak was coming from. It was coming from in here. So I had 3 separate little leaks, and that pisses me off. You know, when you do a bike completely over like that and it's dripping oil, you know, that just pissed me off. I didn't want to drive it. You know, I go drive it somewhere and park it and I got a puddle of oil under it. So that's kind of embarrassing. So I traced down those 3 leaks. And so I got to pull off the gear case cover and see if I can get a better O-ring in there, or a bigger O-ring, and have a look at the shaft. I'm pretty sure the shaft was in good shape, but that's where that's leaking, right in here. That's where it's dripping. You can see my fingers wet right now, right from that, right in there. It's licking right up that shaft. And so that's where I'm at with this. And now that I got that side cover back, on this side, I'm going to bolt this side cover on. The ignition switch goes into the side cover, and then I'm going to finish up this wiring. Then the wiring's ready to go. So that's my plan for now. I still haven't finished this freaking thing here. I went and got some more coarser sandpaper so I could get this out a little easier. All the little imperfections everywhere. Once I get all these little imperfections out, I go over the whole cover like that. Then each stage is quick and easy. It's just all the time-consuming sanding out all the little dings and dents in it. And if Peter paints that tank for me next week, or clears that tank for me next week, wow, man, I'll be almost there. And I think there's a motorcycle rally and show in, I went to last year. I did a video on it on Bacon Fest. It's a hog, it's a Harley thing, and they show some bikes there, and I think I think this is the 6th year for it. So I'd love to get this bike and take it there. It's about 70 miles away. Oh man, it'd be nice to make it with this bike. That'd be cool. Anyways, that's where I'm at. That's the update for that. I got a bunch of parts in for the Suzuki to finish that, and I'm gonna do a video on that right shortly. I don't have time. I'm working so much, you guys. You have no idea. You have no idea. I got like 3 jobs. I think it's 8 o'clock right now, and I'm just getting home. And I don't even have time to work. And I got to put the new Blackwater tank in the motorhome over there. I got that pulled out, and all the plumbing's for that over there, and a new pump, and all the valves. Got to do that this weekend too. I don't know how. And I think I got another motorcycle. I'm gonna call the guy tonight, see if he still has it, and I'm gonna go get it on Saturday. Today is Thursday night, so I might have another project in here, but I'll put that on the back burner for the winter time. So if I can get this bike done, pull the carbs off the Venture, I want to make sure it's those Enrichner jets on the carbs. Just want to double check that, put it under pressure, see if that's where it's leaking. And because it's $200, you know, it's 180 US, over $200 Canadian for those 4 frickin' Enrichners, carb choke plunger Enrichners. And that'll be a day's work getting that off and on and all apart. Okay, so there's kind of an update video, but my side covers are done. Just the tank to clear, and we're ready to go. I'll put this video because that's all I got right now. I'm just too busy. Thanks for watching.